It feels slightly bizarre and surreal to be sitting here right now, looking at a fully furnished and completed home and remembering back to those simple sketches and ideas that turned into a very beautiful reality.
And it's this reality that comes to life in our final chapter. As our journey draws to a close, we race to the finish line so that we can complete our home on time and on budget. It's those hard-to-describe tactile and sensory experiences in a home that often help to excite curiosity. With Seneca Textiles installing our wall coverings, it's the use of these fabrics that can often help to create design features in the interior of a home.
Both of these products can add and create a mood quite instantly. But I think the thing that wallpaper has above paint is the fact that it is really textural. You want to run your fingers along it. It's not something that we see in Australia all too much as you do overseas in Europe.
The other thing you don't see every day is the weave of a material made from the most surprising of sources.
So this one here is taken from the central stem of the banana leaf, which is a very strong fibre, which is stripped off and it's then dried and used in the weft and the warp. And whereas the other ones are taken from the bark and the first layer inside the bark.
The other final piece to finishing this puzzle are those things we live with every day. The soft furnishings and selected pieces that make a house feel like a home. With our interior stylist Adela working together with our interior designer Sam, it's sourcing those final selected pieces for the home that will help bring it to life. Using furniture, decoration and accessories.
Now we need a sofa or two.
In saying that,
these pieces are not only selected by look and comfort, but also how well they talk to all of the other pieces and materials in the home, plus the emotions that they help ignite.
The beautiful tiles that we have, we're picking up those tones in like rugs and artwork.
that's right.
Yeah.
Referencing the coast as well, so referencing the beach and referencing all the natural materials.
It's this coastal theme expressed and enhanced through unique products that talk the same language as all of the other items chosen. That is one of the secrets to property styling.
Beautiful because we've got concrete floors.
Exactly.
So that's a nice tie-in.
Those elements of interior design need to be applied to each room so that people walk into the space and there is an inherent feel of it being magic.
Back from this shopping expedition, it's this retail therapy that keeps each and every home looking fresh, with selected pieces hand-picked to match the personality of each room.
The stylist's favourite part of the job is buying. So we style for an experience, a lot of different perspectives as well. So we have to make sure that everything is covered and every corner is filled and everything looks the way that it needs to.
And it's these hand-selected pieces, when linked together, that create an entire story for a home, as people journey from the front door through to the backyard. With each next step building on that experience and that emotional connection.
So I'm going to do a green story here with some darker accents. It's nice to have a little bit of contrast.
With the home being crafted around a light and airy Scandinavian theme, it's this casual approach that will help create that feeling of a relaxed holiday home. With our order loaded up at the crack of dawn, by mid-morning, each and every element, down to the finest details, were all slotted into their precise position. And this eye for detail had all attested to creating a home which, on this day, I can officially say was now complete.
So there is a method of selecting furniture. We choose to measure the property and make sure that the furniture that we're considering putting in place is of the right size, so not oversized and not undersized. And we also make sure that we take note of any colours and finishes which can actually drive our selections, put our schemes together and finalise our story.
Even though the facade is very special, I don't think people would realise just how beautiful a space this is going to be to live in. And then the living out the back, it's just this expansive space, and it's just really set up for indoor-outdoor living.
And to top it off, there was just one final and very colourful expression of artistic flair to go. A back beach impression to remind visitors of the natural beauty that surrounds our home in this unique and special region of the world.
As I say, it's suitable to occupy. You look at how the paving levels are set, got the drainage covered.
No home is ever officially finished in legal terms without the big tick of approval by the building surveyor, who was yet to legally sign off on our home.
All the safety issues, smoke detector.
With our engineer arriving at the same time too, the pressure was on as we waited to pass the crucial last hurdle of this 12-month test of patience, hard work and human effort required to construct our new home.
Yeah, from our point of view, it's weatherproofing, and again the bushfire, we've got the metallic mesh screens on the window openings, the bushfire resistant timber for your decking and external cladding, and general waterproofness.
As well as double checking finer details like the finish of fire rated and energy rated materials, Ken also vitally ensures the home is built to the exacting standards required by state laws and Australian building codes. And when millimetre precision is often the difference between a pass or a fail, we nervously awaited the pending outcome.
Yeah, so congratulations Ray and Chris. So there's your occupancy permit.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And with those beautiful words, our home was officially finished, and our first guests would be two of the most discerning and influential property editors known to Australia.
It's lovely. This is a gorgeous beach house.
It feels like sort of a really cocooning room. I've got to say the concept.
With Alice Stolz, the managing editor of Domain, together with Tanya Buchanan, editor of the iconic Belle magazine, walking through the home together, it would be their decades in the design world that would cast the very first eye over our new home.
Again, it's that era, isn't it? The colour scheme is a nod to the late 50s, 60s with the sagey green, the greys and then the stainless steel.
And it's this 1960s nostalgia linking the brand new home to our little old beach shack, combined with the quality of finishes, proportions of the spaces, and the natural themes throughout that in particular caught their attention. A third and final guest being Bell Magazine's style director-at-large, Steve Cordoni, would also make a grand entrance.
Beautiful space.
And it's his design talent that quickly explores each of the individual elements to the spaces.
Beautiful sort of French, I think this is an Engasempe tile, which is really, really lovely. And again, they've kind of carried wet through the, again, recycled timber, which is one of my favourite components.
With every home being likened to a giant sculpture, filled with materials, colours and finishes that bring our individual personalities the most joy, it's the crucial first impression that starts the journey to the story of a home. Building layer upon layer of that heartfelt emotional connection with each next step.
The first impressions for me were, you walked in through this space, the front steel facade, which was quite warm, but sort of you didn't know what was to expect through the house. But then you open up and it's quite light and the proportions are amazing. And I think the overall feel and the soul of the home was really sort of tranquil and perfect for this sort of beachy environment.
With a glowing review and high praise for our design, a year of hard work, stress and persistence all seemed worth it as we basked in the applause of our achievement.
I love the proportions of it. Like, it feels like a really lovely, big, comfortable house to be in. And I really love the colour palette. For me, it's really, really calm. And I love that it doesn't feel hard to live in.
Sometimes, some really contemporary new houses can be a bit soulless, but I think this definitely has a warmth, and I think all those textures and all those elements of design that we spoke about, they really shine through, and as soon as you walk through the front door you can feel it, and it's an emotional kind of reaction to the space.
And timeless, yes, and this will stand the test of time. It's got the space, it's got the finishes that will last.
So I would just love this house. Yeah. I love it.
To finalise a construction of any kind is definitely an amazing personal achievement, and it's achievable by anybody. If you follow the right processes, employ the right people and take your time and be methodical through the approach, anything's achievable, and this house is proof of it. For a couple of guys that make TV shows, the workmanship here and the finish quality and even the architectural flair and design and the vision is exceptional.
After 11 months and 13 days since we first started the demolition, it was now officially finished. From the rigours of its ship-like exterior, clad in weathering steel, to the soft velveteen look of an ocean blue render, to the symphony of Australian hardwoods, all perfectly harmonised with a rugged ocean coastline, etched by eons of sea air and sunshine, and just metres from our doorstep. Its interior would be a soft and cosy private sanctuary, adorned in natural light and filled with jewels from across the world, and all embodied with a soul that carries the heartbeat of our little old beach shack. And that was my story about my family and I and our home we built together. That started out as a little old beach shack, and through thousands of hours of work was transformed a little bit more each day into Karkalla Beach House. And it's that house that we built that now lives in a landscape carved by millions of years of sea air and sunshine. And it will be part of this next wave in the ever-evolving history of this special part of the world. As always, see you later. Come here, man. Come on. This, for me, was a story about people, because ultimately it's people who will drive any building project. And your success will hinge on how well you manage those relationships. Building a home is a battle.
First water, mate. Water.
Just hit a water pipe. From the very first sketch to the very last nail, you'll be fighting to achieve your dream. Your greatest enemy will be your expectations, not only in what you can physically achieve, but also in respect to your timeline and your budget. You will have days that will drive you crazy. You will have days that wear you down, and you will have days where you wondered why you ever signed up for this at all. But on one of those days, you'll sit back and see the creation that flowed through your hands as an idea and through thousands of hours of work was slowly turned into a reality. And it's in that moment there is an inherent feel of magic. There were big lessons we learnt along the way, with the biggest one being to get great trades. Ones your gut instincts trust 100%. This is most especially true when you're choosing your builder. Your carpenters in this battle will be your tacticians, and you'll lean on them the most, so choose wisely. Your electricians, plumbers, engineer and building surveyor will be your major backup, so again, choose wisely. After that, you're on your own in the Wild West, and it's you versus the construction. In this battle, be wary of everyone and never let your guard down. Your money is your greatest weapon, so use it strategically in your unrelenting search for quality, and never give it over foolishly or based on blind trust. And when it comes to spending it, do so carefully. Save every dollar you can. Save no matter how big or how small, because at the end of the battle, it could be the difference between a finished home or a financial disaster. Realise too that the last 20% of the project will cost you 80% of your total budget. So again, be careful. Overestimate your costs to be safe and spend every dollar as if it were your last. There will be days when you're confronted by some attitudes in the industry that are appalling. Don't work yourself out of work is the catch cry of a few who deliberately work slow, bill for hours not worked, and seek only to rip you off. Extricate them immediately, because it's those tradespeople who are better off leaving your construction and the industry altogether. On the other hand, there are those tradespeople that don't get nearly enough kudos. They are the ones who truly love what they do, from the carpenters to the plasterers to the everyday people who wake up at the crack of dawn excited to create. They take great pride in their trade. They are passionate craftsmen, hallmarked by empathy and trust. They are your greatest ally. Hold them tight and treat them like gold. Equally, this is true of great brands and great businesses. Know that there is a direct relationship between design, quality and price. So work within your constraints to choose the right products you can afford for your home. And remember, nothing is ever cheap, easy or simple. So do your research thoroughly, always and forever. Then, lastly, there is family. The only people you can ever fully count on. A journey like this with family will no doubt try to test you. But if it's anything like our family, you'll bounce back stronger together, all while sharing in the glory of what you've created. Because ultimately, this was a story about people. And a story about people is best told with family. And it's this family who dreamed the impossible, and in doing so, achieved something extraordinary.